And this is also a glaring conflict of interest. There are people who sit on those vaccine committees who decide what the rules are for all of us and where we can and cannot go. Could they be getting royalties, and could they be enriched from the vaccines that they are forcing into people's bodies?
So we've asked this question over and over again. Fauci and others have refused to answer any questions. They're steadfastly refusing to answer any questions, but a judge, through the Freedom of Information Act, required that they release some emails. They released them, but they blanked them all out except for the total amount of royalties. But it's not a small amount. 1,800 scientists received $193 million, but they won't tell us from which companies to which scientists. So my question is simply this, and there may be nobody on the committee that's received this money, but if they won't tell us, it makes us wonder. So on the vaccine committees, there's several committees that approve vaccines and then push forward these mandates. Is anybody on those committees receiving royalties from the two companies that make the vaccine, or three companies that make the vaccine? And from which companies? Over the period of time from 2010 to 2016, 27,000 royalty payments were paid to 1,800 NIH employees. We know that, not because you told us, but because we forced you to tell us through the Freedom of Information Act. Over $193 million was given to these 1,800 employees. Can you tell me that you have not received a royalty from any entity that you ever oversaw the distribution of money in research grants?
Well, first of all, let's talk about royalties.
That's the question. No, that's the question. Have you ever received a royalty payment from a company that you later oversaw money going to that company?
You know, I don't know as a fact, but I doubt it.
Well, here's the thing is, why don't you let us know? Why don't you reveal how much you've gotten and from what entities? The NIH refuses. Look, we ask them. The NIH, we ask them whether or not, who got it and how much. They refuse to tell us. They sent it redacted. Here's what I want to know. It's not just about you. Everybody on the vaccine committee, have any of them ever received money from the people who make vaccines? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me if anybody on the vaccine approval committees ever received any money from people who make the vaccines?
Soundbite number one, are you going to let me answer a question? Okay, so let me give you some information. First of all, according to the regulations, people who receive royalties are not required to divulge them even on their financial statement, according to the Bayh-Dole Act. So let me give you some example from.
Is anybody on those committees receiving royalties from the two companies that make the vaccine, or three companies that make the vaccine? And if they are, they shouldn't be on the committee. The best way to think of this is, let's say your local school board is going to vote to buy new textbooks, and one of the members of the school board owns the textbook company. Do you think anywhere in America that doesn't have to be divulged, that that's a conflict of interest? So nobody would, but nobody touches Fauci. We go after him on this, and he says, we are not going to tell you, we don't have to. And then he cites a law from 1980 that we're investigating the law, and we will change the law if it's protecting him. But really, what kind of bureaucrat, what kind of scientist comes forward and says, well, we're just not going to tell you because we don't have to? He and his wife make $850,000 a year working for the government, and we want to know if these scientists that are raking in that much money are also receiving royalties, and if they're receiving royalties from companies for which they are approving the drugs. That's a clear conflict of interest.
Absolutely.